Good morning, everybody. It's about 8:33 or 8:34. And I'm here to do my Raw review, if you will. And, well, a lot of people have the opinion on Raw last night. I mean, they feel Raw it was okay for what it was, and some feel it was lackluster. And the reason I say they feel it was lackluster is because, you know, to them, they feel there isn't much of a build right now towards. I had to turn off the speaker there. There isn't much of a build towards Over the Limit in the next few weeks. And trying to make sure I get the results right, because I did watch it last night. I did record it. But anyway, we basically started out the night with John Laurinaitis cutting a promo on why he did to John Cena. Basically saying that if anybody makes fun of him, basically coming out and says, hey, if anybody makes fun of me anymore, anybody makes fun of my boys, blah, 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 basically enforcing his heel authority that there will be consequences. Well, this, of course, brings out CM Punk. Now, CM Punk basically drops a pipe bomb on Laurinaitis. You know, basically drops a pipe bomb on Laurinaitis, saying basically everything he said was a fabrication. You know, the reason he went to Japan is because nobody here in the United States would even pay to have that guy in the ring. And that even though he went to Japan, he still came back and he's still a joke. He's still the same Laurinaitis. So basically what this does is this kind of infuriates Laurinaitis by having him place CM Punk in a match against Lord Tensai. Now, here's the thing about Lord Tensai. A lot of fans have their difference of opinion about the guy. You know, everybody knows he was Albert, everybody knows he was A-Train, and if you follow wrestling in Japan, you know he was Giant Bernard. The fact is, the reason people have a problem with Lord Tensai, in my opinion, is they can't take him seriously. Basically, I think what they see with him is he's nothing more than just a Japanese version of the Sultan, with the exception that instead of wearing a mask, he takes the mask and the helmet off. And all he has is a different change of outfit and everything, maybe a few other moves and a few new moves, but he's still the same guy. Now, here's something that really, one of the things that was running through the night. Big Show was coming down to the ring, you know, for his match against Cody Rhodes for the title. Now, Cody Rhodes got himself counted out, but that's not the end of it. When Big Show was on his way to the ring, he bumped into Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis got mad at him, and of course, Big Show, you know, just being Big Show, he just made fun of Laurinaitis. Now, of course, who does this catch the attention of but Eve? Now, Eve, being the executive administrator for the time being, decides after the match to come out and have Big Show apologize. Now, Big Show, of course, doesn't really want to do it, so he half-heartedly apologizes. Until, I guess, Eve kind of tells him, look, basically threatens his job by saying no one's going to pay to see you if you lose your job. Now, of course, he does have to forcibly say he's sorry. Now, what does this tell me about Eve? This tells me that Eve's going to get her karma, if you know what I mean, down the line. Just watch, you'll see what I'm talking about. And you know what? Speaking of Eve, I would not be surprised that if this whole storyline with Eve acting the way she's been acting is all because she lost the Divas title last year. I would not be surprised if WWE comes out and says, has Eve come out and admit, if the time comes, we don't know when it will be, come out and admit, thanks to either Triple H, maybe Teddy Long, whoever is the person that replaces Laurinaitis, we don't know if that's going to happen soon or not. But I wouldn't be surprised if Eve comes out and says, look, the reason I've been acting like this is because ever since I lost the Divas title, I've been shoved to the side. Nobody's taking me seriously anymore. You know, I've become obsolete. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the cases. I wouldn't. Now, of course, we do get a match between Kofi and Dolph the next match tonight, which was pretty good. It was all right. Dolph ends up going over Kofi, which I guess kind of sets up maybe an over-the-limit tag team match between Swagger, Ziggler, Kofi, and R-Truth. So that might be pretty cool. And it looks like, I'm trying to read here so I don't miss anything, because I did watch it, but you know. And it looks like Mason Ryan is going to be joining AW's stable down the line. Now, of course, we get the Michael Cole interview with John Cena. Now, here's the thing about Michael Cole. According to several sources, Michael Cole is supposed to be cooling off his heel character, if you know what I mean. So basically still be in between. But tonight, because of they want to play up John Laurinaitis really abusing the authority and all that, or really pushing his limits, basically he kind of played up the heel a bit. Not, you know, a little bit more than he did previous weeks, but kind of, I'll say this. Neutral was kind of like, it was kind of like, I don't know how you put it, maybe 60, kind of like 80, no, not that, more like 60-30, if you will, with him tonight. So, still tolerable, but, you know, it's kind of a 60-40 deal, 60-30 deal. Anyway, he interviewed John Cena, and basically John Cena said, look, the doctors advised me I shouldn't compete for the next few months, but I'm going to anyway because they don't know what they're talking about. And two, he goes on to answer Michael Cole's question by saying, look, you know, I am scared. I am scared of the fact that Laurinaitis is going to hurt himself before I get my hands on him. And then we also find out that the reason the board of directors didn't reprimand Laurinaitis for his actions over the past, for the past week, is because they talked to John Cena, and John Cena basically said, hey, whatever you want, whatever you have planned for him, whatever anger management, demotions, whatever, probations, whatever you're going to do to him, firings, hold off on it until after Over the Limit. So what does that tell me? That tells me that, what does that tell me? Well, no, I'll tell you what it tells me. It tells me that John Laurinaitis is either A, going to go back to being an interim general manager, or be put on probation. In other words, it'll be like, John Laurinaitis will be like, okay, you know, I don't want to make the board of directors mad, so I'll give you what you want, even though there are going to be some people that don't like it. That's what I feel is going to happen, if he stays on as general manager. But then again, he can end up losing that job too. Because I've said it before in a video, and I'll say it again. When they made John Laurinaitis the primary focus of this whole general manager of both shows deal, to them it's like you just wasted a storyline on somebody that nobody takes seriously. Somebody that's getting more heat on him than even Vicky Guerrero gets. Heck, I mean, I listened to what to Michael Cole when he did "May I Have Your Attention, Please?" And you know what? He didn't even get that much heat anymore. John Laurinaitis gets more heat than Vicky and Michael combined. What does that tell you? Now I know some people may say, well, that's perfect. They'll want to keep him on. No, it's not the kind of heat of, oh, let's keep him on because people want to pay to see him get his ass kicked. No, it's the kind of heat that says, get the fuck off our television, get him out of here. Kind of heat. I'm checking my time. How about it? That's what it is. Now, next up we have a Divas tag match. It's Layla and Kelly Kelly against Maxine and Natalia. That's right, Maxine finally is off NXT, at least for tonight, and is competing in the Divas tag match on Raw. Basically, we find out during this match, because Beth Phoenix was at ringside, we find out that Beth will challenge Layla at Over the Limit for the title. Now, it was okay minute and about 2-minute match, I guess, if you want to look at that way, an okay Divas tag. Layla wins with her neck breaker, the layoff, if you will, and basically locks eyes with Beth Phoenix, indicating their match at Over the Limit. Next up, then, we get our tag team main event, if you will. That's our main event tag team match. It's Orton and Sheamus against Del Rio and Jericho. This was a pretty good tag match, no doubt about it. Back and forth, and the heels do end up winning this match when Sheamus accidentally kicks Randy in the face with the bro kick after Jericho ducks. Jericho takes advantage, hits the code breaker, gets the win. This, of course, leads to Randy afterwards, out of frustration, hitting the RKO on Sheamus and basically telling Sheamus, hey, you kicked me in the face. Hey, so that there's no accidents whatsoever in that ring. So basically this sets up so what does this do? It basically takes the one-on-one Del Rio Sheamus match at Over the Limit and makes it into a fatal four-way. Now, the next match we have is Miz and Brodus Clay. Probably one of the longer matches that Brodus has had in a while. Probably one of the more physical matches and toughest matches. I mean, Miz really controlled most of the match. There's no doubt about that. But in the end, to keep Brodus' streak going, he basically does beat Miz. And, you know, I guess now the girls get introduced first. I mean, he gets introduced by the girls, but they get introduced by him, and they come out first, and he comes out. And I guess now the fans are Funketeers. You know, kind of a tribute to Masketeer. I guess targeting towards the little kids and everything. Checking my time here. Now, we do get an update on Triple H in the storyline situation, his injury and all that, and it does show photos of him still working with a metal cast, if you will, arm brace to kind of heal his arm so he can continuously work. And this, of course, led to a legal representative of Brock's coming out on his behalf. And who does come out? The person everybody's been wanting to see come back during this whole thing. The person that comes out as the legal representative, Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman basically reads off a statement from Brock Lesnar indicating and finalizing that Brock quits WWE because he's sick and tired of the politics and everything that takes place, the same stuff that caused them to leave, 8 years before. So, and apparently, according to reports, Paul Heyman will be on a semi-regular basis to be the spokesperson of Brock Lesnar. That way they don't use Brock's time that much. So, and then we get our main event, which is CM Punk against Lord Tensai and Daniel Bryan. typical heels handicap win match for them. And I'll be back in a second.